everybody. Welcome to another Sunday conversation here on the Russell Pierce channel. I'm Backup Hangman, the leader of the Backup Hangman World Order, and I'm joined by Joe Hulbert and the Russell Pierce First Lady, Isra, at Rollins on Twitter. We're going to be here tonight for the next little bit, hanging out, taking your guys' super chat, answering questions, just talking shop, and we're going to review Backlash and some other little items, as well as anything else you guys would like us to talk about. But I'm really happy to be here today. This is now week 2 of Backup Hangman on Sundays with Isra, and I'm starting to get a little comfortable now. I'm starting to set the furniture a little bit. I bought a new portrait to put right behind me. I'm starting to buy some chairs. So we're getting settled in here, and I hope you guys can get settled in with us. Isra, how are you doing today?
Hello. First of all,
yes.
Am I good? I'm not lagging or nothing?
No, you are totally.
Because I'm lagging on my end. It looks like crazy. But I'm all right. It's a good day to have a good day. I'm struggling a little bit. If you know. I'm quitting the fruity air. So I'm just going to be drinking Coke the whole time that I'm here. And yeah, I just want to talk I don't know. Yesterday it was probably the best time for wrestling to be on because it was just a lot going on in the world. Mm-hmm. So it was a really good escape, and it ended up being a really good show too. So can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. We all watched Backlash last night, which was live in Puerto Rico, and quite the show, quite the spectacle. A lot of memorable things took place, and I'm just really excited to get into all of it. Joe Hulbert, this is your 5th Wrestle Purist podcast this week. You were on Worldwide. You were on the Dynamite pre-show. You were on the Dynamite review on the flagship. You were with me and Monty yesterday talking Backlash before the show went live, and now you're here to do the payoff and review the show. 5 shows in 1 week. Most anyone has ever done in the history of the channel. You've broken a record. How do you feel? Are you tired? Are you beat up? Take me through what's going on with you right now.
It's just another week. There's going to be a lot of talk about, a lot of hype about it. But ultimately, tomorrow's Monday, which means it's worldwide, and we go again.
Oh my God!
We go again because this is what this business is about. We take it seriously around here, leading by example.
3 days in a row, bro.
It's different when you look. I've been around the block in this game. I've been around. I've seen it. I've got paydays. I've certainly missed a few of them. But things are good here. While I'm booked, I'm going to make the most of it. But I'm happy to be here. The Sixers survived tonight. Barely survived. I mean, barely.
They won in overtime. I saw that they were down 3 with a couple.
Marcus Smart shot a free 0.2 after the clock and made it to win, but shot did not count, did not get it off. So it was they survived like that. It was crazy. But
wow. So serious side too.
It is. I'm not feeling good about the rest of it, but we survived to live to fight another day. But I'm fired up, man. We were talking last night during Backlash. This really was a great time. I really enjoyed watching the show, so I'm excited to talk about some of you both. It'll be a good time.
Question, because I didn't get to catch the podcast yesterday. Was Hangy being emo about the Knicks getting embarrassed?
I think you didn't really cover it, right?
I'll let Joe give his unbiased answer, and then I'll answer that myself. But go ahead, Joe.
I thought you did a good job of kind of keeping that in the back of the mind. I didn't feel like it was a major topic. We did have a pretty eventful podcast, so maybe I missed a moment or two of sorrow, of sadness. But it seemed like it didn't affect your performance, which is impressive in my view.
Yeah,
you were so lucky I wasn't here yesterday. Because I was in that mode. The thing is, I was sick yesterday because I couldn't join or whatever. But after watching what the Heat did to the Knicks, I had gained so much strength, and I was I might just get on the pot, just to flex on you. But so you're lucky.
Thankfully, that didn't happen. I gotta be honest. So I was deflated and demoralized the first time we came on last Sunday. Now I'm on that second stage of grief where it just looks so over that I'm now detached to myself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You know what happens where it's like they're fucked. You know they're fucked.
Bro, I was literally there like 20 minutes ago. I know exactly.
Yeah, I'm not about to like stress. Like, it's very clear right now where this is going. I'm not about to just, it is what it is. They're fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, Isra, congratulations to your Miami Heat. They're going to beat the Knicks in 6 games. They're going to win Game 4. The Knicks are going to win Game 5 and lose Game 6. It is what it is. You guys are going to the conference finals to face either the Sixers or Celtics, and that should be a fun series. But nevertheless, we are here to talk wrestling, and we have a nice little house piling in, guys. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, send super chats, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. If you're a first-time listener, we have a lot of fun here. We answer your super chats, we talk wrestling, we review whatever's on the agenda, and so we're gonna do a little bit of that today. A bit of news before we get into Backlash. We had some news drop from WWE themselves in the afternoon. They revealed their field of 12 competitors that are going to be in this tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship. So in case you missed it, or in case you just don't know, WWE is doing a tournament for their new World Heavyweight Championship. This championship was introduced by Triple H, and it's going to be a Raw exclusive title, but the tournament's fielding 6 wrestlers from SmackDown and 6 wrestlers from Raw. The way they're going to do this is this week on their TV. On Raw, there's going to be 2 triple threat matches. The winners of these triple threats are going to advance into a semifinal singles match at the end of the show, and the winner of that is representing Raw at Night of Champions in the finals of the tournament. The same is going to happen on SmackDown this week, and the winners of the 2 triple threats are going to face each other on SmackDown, and the winner of that's facing the Raw finalist. And the winner of that is going to be the World Heavyweight Champion, and that person will be exclusive to Raw regardless of what brand they've been drafted to. There's been a lot of people who
will be Seth Rollins.
Probably. Yeah. And so a lot of people have kind of talked about, like, the stupidity of, the draft logic, where it's like there's some SmackDown wrestlers on there and stuff. And absolutely a fair point, to be honest with you. Absolutely a fair point. But that notwithstanding, we do have the field of wrestlers. And so I'm going to find my tweet and read the names as follows. Okay. So we have Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Shinsuke Nakamura, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, The Miz, Edge, Sheamus, Bobby Lashley, Rey Mysterio, Austin Theory, and AJ Styles. So, Styles, Theory, Mysterio, Lashley, Edge, and I want to say, who else is the other SmackDown guy in that list? I'm missing somebody. Styles, Theory, Rey, Lashley, Edge. It's escaping me at this point. I think it's Sheamus. Yeah, and Sheamus are the SmackDown guys. A couple of those guys recently came back. Specifically, AJ Styles just came back.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Lashley is a protected wrestler. Austin Theory is currently holding a championship. Edge is a protected wrestler. So I'm really curious who comes out of that whole bunch of people.
I feel like what they're gonna do probably is like start a bunch of little mini feuds that kind of stem from the tournament. So like, say like Austin Theory screws like Edge over, and now they're gonna be for like 3 months. But like neither of them, so like the one of them screws the other one, and then they screw. You know what I mean? So that way they don't look too like they don't have to lose cleanly, and then they also have like feuds. That's what I think they're gonna do, because that's a very WWE thing to do.
For sure. Yeah, I think they're gonna continue. Brock and Cody's probably gonna continue in that form, right? It feels like Cody's gonna get an F5 on the outside of the ring or some shit while other people wrestle in this freeway.
Totally agree. He's getting fucked.
This is an interesting lineup, and like there's obviously a lot of talent there, goes without saying. But it genuinely does feel like this belt is made for Seth Rollins, and not one name in that lineup makes me waver on that, Like, because obviously Cody would be more than qualified for it, but it's like we all agree Cody is headed towards Roman again. So then when you take him off the board, it's like, I think then you're kind of more asking who is Seth going to be beaten to win this belt rather than who else could do it. I don't think again, these are a lot of talented guys, but I don't think any of them have the momentum to make this belt matter when, let's be honest, it needs someone that's going to make it matter immediately. Like, it needs it. Like, it feels like Seth's belt.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there.
It really does. And like the fact that Seth will be the first one to hold it is pretty iconic. Seth has held the red belt and whatever the other belt is that Roman Reigns carries around. He's had both of those belts. So Cody can go and chase whatever Seth has already had in the past. Seth is going to continue to build his resume with another thing that Cody Rhodes has never had, you know? So it's like Seth Rollins is just like a history maker. Like he can make any belt actually matter. So yeah, obviously it's made for him. Seth and 4. I'm really hoping that the final is Seth Sheamus or Seth Ray, but I never get what I want. So it's probably going to be like Seth AJ.
Yeah. It feels like AJ, yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Seth Sheamus would be pretty cool, actually.
Seth Sheamus would literally, like, never mind. Continue.
Sheamus would be an interesting one. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be AJ because he just came back. To be fair, I could see them wanting AJ to work something with Roman if the Paulie stuff has been figured out, which I don't know if it has. That was a problem for a while, right? So I don't know.
I was thinking about this, Joe. So to me, the hottest stuff on the TV lately has not even been the Bloodline stuff. It's been this Judgment Day LWO business, right? I was thinking about it, and I'm like, WWE, they're clearly really afraid of doing their TV without Bloodline segments. Like, clearly, it's like a thing that they want to fall back and lean on because they think it's like the reliable thing, right? And to me, it's like it's not even the hottest thing on the show. So I think you should just take a leap of faith and have faith in some of your other groups, right? And so I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, what could kind of reignite the Bloodline? Who could they work with that could really be fun, right? And I thought about this, and I said, you know what? I think the LWO deserve to be rewarded for the business they've done this month, and I actually think it'd be really, really cool if they did some business with the Bloodline. Just something I was thinking about. Yeah,
I'm with you. I agree. I think the LWO deal has, like a lot of the Dom Ray kind of feud, has exceeded expectations already, right? Like, I mean, it's a cool idea, and it's a good way to sell some merchandise, but like it's been actively red hot on TV, which I don't know if everyone saw that coming. I certainly didn't. It seems to have, and again, I don't watch as closely, but it seems to have like transformed Escobar, and he's standing on the card. So I'm with you. I think it'll be good stuff.
What have you thought about the overall stuff with the LWO on TV against the Judgment Day?
It's literally the best thing that's been on TV. I always liked LDF, but like on the main roster, it got to like a point where they just weren't being like used the way they should. So then becoming LWO was like really smart. Like it elevated them by a lot, and it's just so sexy. The way that they've just like manifested it.
Like, I'm into it too. Go ahead.
No, that's it. It's my favorite act on TV right now. And like what you were saying about the Bloodline, like I think them would have like, I think if they were to have a War Games match, it would literally feel like a dream match scenario. Kind of like when the Shield and the Wyatt family like had their first match.
Yeah, I think
if they like continued like building up LWO, it could like get to that point.
I just pitched it because to me it's like I'm ready to move on from Sammy and KO having to be attached to it, which in theory, because the draft takes into effect tomorrow, allegedly they will no longer be in the same orbit, right? And so I'm ready for them to kind of separate, and seeing as the LWO are over and hot, throwing them with the Bloodline could be something you could do. You can maybe do something with other groups. I mean, in Imperium's on Raw, you can have them work with other groups. Just I think that they just generally need to reshuffle the creative deck in that regard. So yeah, it's just something I was thinking about. Regarding this talent pool, the only really comments I have to say about it, Joe, when it comes to the tournament is I'm curious what the finals are, because you could do on SmackDown, right? You could do a Nakamura AJ Styles semifinal, which in a weird way, right? So here's the thing, in a weird way, even though Shinsuke and AJ are both pushing 50, right? Even though this is the case, I get this weird feeling that like a 13-minute SmackDown TV version of their match would weirdly be better than their awful trilogy of matches that they had in 2018.
I don't disagree. I'm not against it. I would like to see AJ work with Sheamus, which is a pairing that I feel like I've not seen. Like, have they done that at all? Have AJ and Sheamus locked up at all? I mean, they must have, right? They have to.
I can't recall. I don't remember.
That's what I would like to see personally. I mean, AJ is an interesting one where, like, I'm hoping he still has some left. Last year I was up and down on what he had. Like, I thought he had some really good TV matches. I remember when Triple H first got underway, and he had like a couple of good shows. I remember one with Ciampa. I remember he had like a freakish match with The Miz where he was fucking bumping in every which direction to get something out of it. It was wild. It was like a street fight. Do you remember this? It was like a whole deal.
No,
fair. I remember us talking about it, that's why I asked. But nonetheless,
wait, when? What match?
It was like Miz and AJ in like a. He took like an announce table bump. This was like July or August.
Yeah, on a Triple H Raw. I do remember.
Yeah.
This is when Dexter Lumis returned.
Yeah, like that first run, I thought AJ showed he still had some life left, but then as it went on, he looked kind of increasingly. It's hard, man. Like I always feel bad when we do this conversation because ultimately AJ is like 45 years old. And it's like, like he's got every reason to. I understand why he's slowed down, but the problem is his strengths in his prime were that he was so freakishly athletic and dynamic that it's hard to adjust sometimes. Now, if you put in there with Sheamus and they just clobber each other, that might be okay, you know?
Yeah. Isra, I want to read this to you. Our friend of the channel, great friend of the channel, Jenny Omega, she wrote in the live chat, I don't know if you saw this, she said, I'm behind, but congrats on quitting vaping, Isra. Hang in there, with a smiley emoji.
Thanks. Life kind of sucks right now, but I noticed that like gaslighting myself and like pretending to be like optimistic has really helped. Also bullying myself. Because, like, I'll have, like, urges and cravings and stuff, and I'll be like, vaping is honestly so cringe. And I'll just, like, get over
it. You burying your own hobbies to, like...
Yeah, I'm gaslighting myself. I'm bullying myself. Like, whatever I gotta do, because I can't, like...
I've been trying to do that about wrestling for years. It's not worked.
No, I just feel like, why the fuck you watch wrestling?
Yeah, this shit sucks.
It'd be like that. No, Isra, I support you in your journey to quit vaping. I'm sure everybody else in the chat. So listen, guys, if we can get some hearts in the chat for Isra, who is in the middle of a journey here. I think she can do it. I think she can make it. She just needs to have more faith in her own ability to do so. And I think if we should get some hearts in the chat, it would help her. Yeah, man. So that's the tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have a couple of super chats, so I do want to get into some of them before we kind of get into the pay-per-view. Monty, if you could throw some of them on the screen.
Uh-oh.
The big man's asleep at the wheel.
This is my concern, you know. I don't know. I don't know about Monty and Gorilla concerns me, bro. I don't know.
Monty ran off for a smoke.
There he is.
I mean, Monty's eating a sandwich like he was like away from his keyboard and shit. All right, Darren KG, $4.99. Thank you so much, Darren. We appreciate you, man. Darren says, I don't think people are grasping that we are seeing an artist that's bigger than both Drake and Taylor Swift putting on 4.5-star classics for fun.
He's an animal.
4.5.
Yo, I gotta be honest with you.
That was for sure a 5.
Hold
on. Because I know we're gonna get into that match later. But that match, it's exceeded 5 stars because this is the type of match that in 20, 30, 40, even 50 years after wrestling has died, people will remember that this happened. Well, this is one of those type of matches that it will just like it's literally immortal.
I fear that Monty's WrestlePurious spreadsheet would upset you very much, but I do agree with the point that, you know, like it's one of those rare matches we will talk about. Like I was talking about earlier on Late Night Green, like it's absolutely the match that Priest will be most remembered for. And I don't even mean that as a slight on him, right? But it is. It will be one people talk about for years to come for sure.
I'm going to get into this when we talk about the pay-per-view, but you know what I really love in wrestling? The wrestlers that, like, you can see them raise their game when the stage is big. Because there's people that have the same gear, you know, TV, pay-per-view, they're the exact same, right? And for some people, it's a high gear. For some people, it's a medium gear. But the wrestlers that really come alive and when the lights are bright, like, come off like superstars, I really respect it. And I've seen that a lot in some of the top women in WWE, and I'll get into that too. But, you know, Damian Priest is somebody also that, look, man, he looked like he was, you know, a player of some kind, you know, in that match of Bad Bunny. He really did his part, and I really, really love that match. Darren, thank you so much for the super chat.
Absolutely.
Simeon, €2, right?
I believe it's pounds, but my eyes are bad, so.
That's a euro.
Okay, I'm not wrong. I'm not an idiot. Okay, cool.
Good.
Simeon, €2. Joe, thoughts on the Swords of Essex announcement?
Yeah, you can see why I was convinced it was pounds. So and this is genuinely being as transparent as I possibly can be. I'm not like super familiar with the story, the details of said story. What I will say is that I think it is a very alarming precedent, to say the least. Very alarming precedent. And I'm baffled at the way the announcement was made, with the intention of having this sort of like great acclaim in response. I thought that was, and I would like to see the without getting into too many details of it, because again I'm not super educated, but the alleged investigation that I'm told took place, I would like to see what that was, because believe it or not, I don't have great faith in professional wrestling promotions and their investigations about these things. So concerning would be my take.
Okay. I didn't want to look really dumb here, so I have no clue what any of that meant in that sentence. And
yeah,
I thought it was like something relating to like UK politics, and I was like, if I ask a question, I'm gonna look so stupid. So I just got quiet.
So
what's going on here? What happened here?
Progress made an announcement regarding Will Ospreay and his partner, his tag team partner, Paul Robinson.
Okay.
Who was involved in speaking out. And again, I'm not an expert on his particular story, so I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
And today the announcement was that after an investigation, they'll both be used on shows moving forward.
Okay.
It was basically, I don't know what the exact wording was on their end, but it was basically framed as such that like Ospreay had, kind of fought Robinson's corner in this regard. And that's why I used the word of I think it's a dangerous precedent, because that concerns me greatly. And again, without getting into too many details, because I'm genuinely not educated enough to talk in detail, it's like, I think that's concerning. And the way it was announced as that it was like some great triumph, I was baffled by.
I'm gonna do some homework later on. I'm just curious. I do think it's interesting that normally in these types of situations, though, with speaking out and stuff like that, I've noticed that promotions will either just ignore a no sell and just announce that they've booked somebody, rather than be transparent. Like, we have done an investigation on this individual who has these things on his. So, I mean, on paper, I'd like to applaud that, but I'm not familiar with how this whole thing was set up.
And
but thank you so much. Go ahead.
Before we move, the one I want to say also is it has to be noted, this is not something that lives in a vacuum. Progress Wrestling already have a lot of earned a lot of skeptics and cynics in regards to their approach to these matters. So I would like to see, some insights to what this investigation was. But I'll leave it at that, because I don't want to derail the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Joe. I just wanted some context. Simeon, thank you so much for your €2 super chat. Bam 255-019. Bam is great. Bam with $5 American. Bam says, just wanted to thank Backup for answering my question last night. I think Backup deserves to get his flowers every so often. Joe Goat Isra Queen with the goat emoji. Bam, you are such a positive presence in the Wrestle Purist community. So thank you. You know what I mean? And you know what, Bam? I will take those flowers, because they're nice every so often. Thank you so much.
Tremendous.
Shout out to the Israelites.
For sure. Brewu, $2 super chat. Seth for the Crybaby title. Seth is definitely winning the belt, and we'll see what he makes of it, It's just
the way you so matter-of-factly responded.
I'm sorry. Has Seth ever stood in the middle of the ring and squeezing his eyes to get tears to come out?
Who does that?
Sorry.
I don't know.
Who does that?
I must have like missed a few chapters or something. But you're right. He's gonna win the title.
Has Seth never cried in a promo?
The only time I've seen Seth cry is when Roman announced he had cancer.
Well,
right.
There was the other time.
What was the other time?
When the very scary clown man cornered him.
Oh, Bray Wyatt.
He wasn't crying though. He was like
pretty close.
Freaking.
He was on the floor on his ass, right? And he was like,
it was bad.
I was
honestly,
like, bro,
that was so camp. And Hollywood should pick him up.
That is an elite pivot.
Yeah.
You know what? You win.
He said, "What a fucking actor!" Thank you so much for the super chat, Brewu. My man, Darren Walker, with 5 big ones there.
He just gave up.
I'm gonna have new words. I'm gonna say big ones, some 5 slam pajamas there. He said, my highlights from Backlash were Bianca versus Sky, Bunny versus Priest. But favorite thing was when Bayley came out looking like that. Pamela Martinez. Pamela Martinez is a lovely woman. And yeah, Darren, thank you so much for the super chat. I think everybody here probably all has the same exact highlights. Those 2 are the best matches on the show. I'm so happy for Iyo because at the end of the day, she is so much better as a big match singles performer that's treated like a serious performer than she is a tag team stooge, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It always felt like she should, like, you know, this is not a slight on Bayley, but it always felt like she should be the singles wrestler anyway, even when they're a group. Now, we're trending, they're not going to be a group for much longer, right? But, like, no. I always thought that would be more interesting anyway, to be honest. But I understand that Bayley was like the sort of centerpiece and spokesperson. But I'm with you. We'll get into the match in more detail. But it was a game changer for Iyo, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Isra, are you an Iyo? Are you an Iyo light? An Iyo maniac?
Yeah. I've been an Iyo maniac since she debuted in NXT. And my thought just escaped my head. I love her. And that's it. No, I always thought that like Damage Control was just holding her back. Yeah. And I love Bayley and I like Dakota Kai, but no, you're right. It kind of just feel like she was shackled to them. Mm-hmm. Whereas like, I mean, like shout out to the crowd in Puerto Rico for like giving this girl her flowers and like giving her the reactions that she deserves. Cause like America wouldn't have like, there's not a city in America, even if we went to like any city that really loves women's wrestling, right. Even they wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm hoping that maybe like the way they saw Iyo being over as fuck in Puerto Rico, like maybe that will rub off on the Americans here and they will be cultured just a little bit.
I think even if it doesn't rub off, the match being as good and her performance being that good will help, right? Like I think she'll absolutely come back more over it, I think.
For sure. My man Laz, Commodore Laz, who's a great personal friend of mine, he's a very loyal listener to our content, including Dumb Guy Live. He said in the chat, I've been starving since she left Stardom and I need to be fed. It's just if you're an Iyo fan and you've been like just watching her WWE run, that is like being a Nick fan. You know, so
I sent you a similar message, Ibu, after the Good Brothers wrestled on SmackDown, right? And I said,
oh my God, guys, if you missed it, the Good Brothers wrestled in Puerto Rico, and Joe was like in literal tears because Luke Gallows got a tag, and like he was like the big man, Big LJ, my lord, my God. So shout out to the Good Brothers. Darren, thank you so much for the super chat. We love you and we appreciate you. SOL with the $5. Does a potential Omos Obafemi monster tag team move the needle for y'all?
Yes.
If so, which teams would you like to see them work? I'm going to stop right there and say, Isra, have you become hip to this Obafemi?
I was just going to say, who's that?
He's the real.
Yeah.
Google him.
Yeah.
He's up next.
Monty, put him on screen, please.
You don't go here?
He had one match in NXT.
Hold on.
This is the future.
Okay, Obafemi.
Yeah.
It's he's thick. Okay. Hold on. I need like a render.
He's had one match.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that he's 6'8". I don't care if anyone corrects me. He's about 6'8". Big Nigerian man. He beat the shit out of a jobber in NXT a week ago. And I'm on board. You know, me and Monty agree that he should be drafted. I think that he should be in a team with Omos right now. And I'm ready for this. I'm an Oba feminist. For sure.
Okay, so I think Omos could really use a tag team partner. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Joe, we got to convince her. We got to talk to her about this one.
Okay. Yeah, when are we going to get started with the review?
Sure. Soul, thank you so much for the super chat. I am on board with your idea. Heart Editing 199. Thank you so much, Heart. Leader of the Israel fan base, here to say hi.
Hi.
Heart, thank you so much for the super chat.
Love
but
you, Heart.
You aren't the leader of the fan base. I am. I'm willing to fight for it, you know.
I was just going to say you have to fight.
Mario Zuda, 199 super chat. Shout out to Joe, the MVP. You inspire me with a couple animals there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I do a few podcasts, really. I don't know if it's really
a puppy, a bear, and a lion.
I couldn't. My eyes are so awful, so I couldn't even. Thank you so much. Someone said, "Ebu, you boo, we all boo together." Sure. Thank you. All right, guys. All right, never mind. He followed that up by saying, "I'm convinced Ebu is white." This is not true. I beat these allegations a year ago, and I'm not going to relitigate them. But what we're here to talk about is not my racial identity, which is very obvious and clear. We're here to talk about Backlash. So Backlash was live in San Juan, Puerto Rico, in the Coliseo de Puerto Rico last night. Full house, you know what I mean? Big arena, got a big drone shot coming in the venue. No big, goofy, dorky LED stage. It was just a nice, short, stripped out entranceway. So it was more focused on scale and scope and the fans rather than the big fucking stage. And we were treated to a hot crowd the entire night. The opener was Iyo Sky and Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. This is going to be a switched belt soon because both wrestlers have been drafted to SmackDown. Hate when they do that, but nonetheless, they had an opening match, guys. And big pops to the entrances. They got in the ring, and when Samantha Erdvin did the introductions, Bianca Belair, some faint boos. Iyo Sky, massive cheers. Big chance for Iyo. And they got in this ring, and they took their time with it. They let the match build. They kind of really did a lot of feeling out and allowing like the whole thing to breathe, so to speak. And as that's happened, the dynamic was very clear from jump. The fans wanted Iyo Sky to win this championship. They wanted Bianca Belair to lose. And Bianca was booed. Iyo was cheered. They still stuck to the match format that they planned. And Iyo is doing heat segments and control segments on Bianca's limbs. And the crowd is cheering it like it's big offense. She's working Bianca's arm and they're going crazy for it. She's kicking the arm and they're going crazy for it. Bianca's doing her power stuff. And this was a back and forth match where Iyo, she did the drop kick, the springboard drop kick. She did a moonsault to the outside. Bianca Belair did a crazy sit-out powerbomb from the second rope. And Iyo kicked out of that. The crowd went nuts for that. Damage Control got involved. And after a few little interference spots, Iyo was able to do a moonsault. Didn't go through. Bianca eventually won with the KOD and retained her Raw Women's Championship. Isra, what did you think about what these two ladies did here?
Well, first of all, I think the stage was like perfect. It was very stripped down, and like you could just see like the crowd like during their entrances, and I really appreciated that because like it was literally like a packed house. I feel like I didn't expect Iyo or like Bianca or like I didn't know what to expect from like the Puerto Rican crowd, but like the fact that they were like so behind Iyo, like I was just eating it up, and I feel like the girls were kind of feeding off of the crowd's energy. Like I just felt like their match flowed so well, and it could just be that they're both amazing wrestlers, and like that's how they planned it out to be. But I also feel like you could feel like the energy like going back and forth, if you know what I mean. You could tell they were both having a lot of fun. I got to a point where like I really wanted Iyo to win. I mean, I know that like they were gonna. I mean, I already expected Bianca to win because they have like this record that they want her to beat. Like, it would make no sense to have her lose it the day before the record. So that was to be expected. But like, when you have a moment like that and like the audience is just so hot, like sometimes you just it would have been like cool to see them completely switch up. In terms of the whole Bayley situation, I get it, but my thing is I feel like Iyo should have turned on Bayley then and there. I get that they have plans and a story that they probably want to build with the girls, but the audience was just so hot. They should have just called an audible like right then and there and had Iyo just turn on her. And that would have been the moment. So even if she lost, she still would have won something. You know what I mean?
You bring up an interesting point because, look, Iyo is going to make the turn. It's something that they're obviously setting up. But, you know, is it going to be as hot when she does it to Bayley in, you know, wherever you want to give me a random American, you know what I mean? Like, is it going to be as hot? The answer is no. It just won't be, right? So it does feel like, man, if only they could have pulled the trigger of something of some kind tonight. My big takeaway about all this, Isra, is WWE's women's division at the top echelon is, you don't see their value on TV because they're creatively failed in the sense that they're not given a lot of interesting stuff to do. And I've noticed a lot of them, they're not TV wrestlers in the sense of like, oh man, we're gonna really show you what we're made of in this like 8-minute tag match. But when you give them like a space to just cook on pay-per-view, big match situation, big crowd, 20 minutes, they really elevate their games. You know, like the Iyo that you saw here is not the Iyo you see on Raw. The Charlotte that you saw at WrestleMania is not the Charlotte you see on SmackDowns. And it's really impressive. They all just go Super Saiyan. Like, they're really big match wrestlers. And I think, Joe, that part of being a real wrestler is being someone that shows up in the bright lights. What did you think of Iyo and Bianca?
You know, I agree, and I love the match. I think to Isra's point, you definitely saw with Iyo in particular, like the crowd's reaction brought a new let her level up to a wrestler that honestly we haven't seen her be on the main roster. And I think a lot of that is the reasons you laid out, Ibu, but I think sometimes it's these occasions, right? Like, to your point, it's about rising to them, and I think she certainly did. It should, if followed up on correctly, transform Iyo's kind of trajectory here on the main roster. No one is surprised at how good she was here, but doing it in that particular moment, opening match, getting about 20 minutes to tear it up, like, she absolutely maximized it. So it was a huge moment for her. I think Bianca did a great job of like dealing with a reaction that must have been surprising, because it was surprising to everyone watching at home, so it must have been pretty surprising to her. Like, she's been doing these house shows for over a year, and I don't think we've had one report of crowds turning on her like this, So I wish she did a good job of just keeping her head on and doing the match as intended. In an ideal world, would you have slightly altered the match to lean in the crowd's direction? Maybe. But luckily, they're both so good offensively that even as a heel, Iyo is going to do shit that lets the people cheer her anyway, right? Because she's so explosive and dynamic. So, like, it worked out, and I thought that a great match. Really a match that, honestly, I think both women needed for different reasons, right? Like, Bianca's in a really interesting place because we all agree on her as a talent. That goes without saying, right? Like, no one's questioning that part of it. But she's got into a really interesting place as a character because I almost think she'd benefit from losing the belt at this point, Like, I think the deeper you get into these reigns, sometimes the audience almost naturally kind of wants change just because that's the way it is, Like, it's inevitable. So I think there's questions about what you do with Bianca in this next leg of programming and such, but big night for Iyo. That's the main story, and they killed it. They had a great match. I loved it.
The match is amazing. It's definitely one of my favorite women's matches so far this year.
Yeah,
just everything about it, the whole structure and everything, and even and like kind of like what Joe was saying. Even though Iyo was playing the role of the heel, they both were just so explosive in that match that it still kind of felt like she was giving the crowd what they wanted.
Right.
I feel like Iyo could have literally just like laid down for a good like 10 seconds and they would have like eaten it up too. Like honestly.
Yeah, she was so
they were popping for side headlock takeovers in the beginning of the match.
They were.
Like, but that's what you should be doing.
Yeah, like they love wrestling. Like literally headlock takeover on Bianca, and Bianca has it, and they're like, boo. Iyo just leans over and reverses it. Yeah, and then he switches over, and they're like, woo.
We've had this
my
debate.
American brain was thinking like, oh my God, you're putting in so much energy in the beginning of the show. You're gonna burn out. You're gonna be tired later. No, they still had energy the whole show. Americans, maybe we're just weak. Maybe we need to just work on that. I don't know about you Brits. We're going to find out very soon. Well, I know about us. Like, we need to get our shit together because, like, even like the most, I guess like loud cities, like when you go to like Philly or Chicago or whatever, like even they don't fucking compare. Like, holy shit.
We've had this debate before on Mondays, I know, and our friend Manny always pops me with it, but like, I totally appreciate everyone watches wrestling differently, and some can disconnect the crowd's engagement to what they're watching. And our friend Manny even watches matches on mute because of this.
That's so weird. This
show to me is like, this encapsulates why to me the crowd is so important. You know, like this crowd transformed some of these matches. Now, the match we're talking about right now was great regardless because the work was that good. But like, as fun as Bad Bunny and Damian Priest was, and it really was fun, like the crowd is like a part of that match, you know? Like the crowd reacting the way they do is everything. Like it's
and they're part of all these matches, and it's why sometimes when people talk about matches and they go like, if you muted, is it actually as good? Or you know, it's mostly the crowd that made the yeah, sometimes the crowd makes these matches. That's the point of wrestling. They wrestle.
I had like I had like an existential crisis like while I was watching it, and I'm like, we need more of this.
Yep.
Because it's about the energy. Like people like underestimate like the energy that's needed in wrestling. Like without it, it's just like it just feels so much more dead. Like when you're watching a show and the crowd is just so quiet, like you feel like something is missing.
Yes, exactly. People, guys, listen. Yes, the actual like work, like the moves and the quality of the moves and the crispness is good. It's important. You want to be a good worker. But the point of working is so that the fans react. The most important thing about wrestling is heat. It's called heat because you want heat in the building so that they react to whatever the fuck you're doing. So if you have heat and then the wrestlers are working and adhering to that, like that's the fucking point.
Yeah.
Why do we have these discussions where people are like, yeah, well, you know, if you watch it on mute or if you did that, well, you don't watch it on mute. It's a psychosomatic experience where you take it all in. The wrestling, the sounds, the acoustics, it's all a part of it. It's all a part of it, you know? So yes, the crowd transformed every single match on this card. Absolutely. That's how it should be. They went to Puerto Rico because those fans are going to love what they're going to see and they're going to make this memorable and special. So shout out to the fucking Puerto Rico crowd. Isra, my question to you now, though, is Bianca Belair was booed. And you could say that it's a very specific situation, unique to what happened tonight, but she is booked in a way that could maybe set this up to happen more because, you know, John Cena in the past was booed because at some point he ran to a lot of people's favorite wrestlers. And, you know, I think Bianca Belair is more naturally gifted than John Cena, but the fact remains she's beaten Asuka, she's beaten Iyo Sky. Do you think this is something WWE should worry about in the future when it comes to booking her?
Yeah, I said this last week. I said like they kind of like booked her into a corner where it's like they have her playing the role of a babyface, but her appeal as a babyface, like I said last week, is basically that she had to like overcome all these different obstacles, adversities, what have you, people that's in her way. She doesn't really have that right now. She just looks so dominant and like she's just the leader of like the whole women's division and like everyone bows down to her. So she's like kind of like Beyonce right now. And you just like, I don't know, like it kind of got to a point where it's like she seems like she should be a heel because you're so dominant and like no one can beat you. And like she'll come out and she'll be like, I'm better than everyone. But she'll be smiling and laughing and dancing while she's doing it, so that makes her a face. But like the essence, it's very heelish.
It's hard. I feel like it's so strange. Like saying the creative team is letting Bianca Belair down is hilarious because she's like she never loses and she beats everyone. But there's really there's a lack of like detail work with her presentation, right? Like it feels like a lack of effort sometimes. Like
I don't think they think that hard about it. I feel like it's just like, all right, we're at TV this week.
Yeah,
let's put Bianca in a tag. She's gonna just cut the EST promo. She'll just do her cool superhero stuff. And at the pay-per-view, she's wrestling this person. Whatever. She'll figure it out on pay-per-view. She's great.
I think she's so great that she is like kind of escaped the inevitable with a reaction like this, and it's finally caught her. You know, it's like she's been so awesome. But if you really think about the way she presents, it's like, of course they've eventually just said like, we want someone else to win now. You know, because it's not only like I was talking to Monty about this. It's not only that she wins. It's the fact like she beats everyone like flat in the middle of her finish, you know, like without no matter what happens.
KOD, you know? The KOD feels like the fucking strongest move in the world, bro. Yeah. Whenever like there's wrestlers, look, bro. Cody Rhodes is my boy, right? I don't think the Crossroads is fucking beating anybody. He has to do 7 shit to fucking finish him. You know what I mean? He literally has to roll out of one. At this point, the Crossroads is literally like a setup to a second Crossroads to finish the match. Mm-hmm. There's so many wrestlers who do their finishes a million times, right? The Usos, 70,000 super kicks, right? When she sets up a KOD, I'm like, whoa. Because I'm rooting for Iyo, right? So every time she has her up in that thing, I'm like, no. Like I'm like literally like teetering my body, hoping for her to fall out of the shit. Because that thing feels like you get hit with the KOD. It is over. Nobody's kicking out of a fucking KOD. And so
that's a good thing to be clear, right? Sure, to be clear. Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. When you're watching, you want finishers to feel like a finish, so that a false finish is literally a false finish. Sure, but to Isra's point, she's so fucking dominant. Bianca feels like a dynasty, right? Like a one-woman dynasty, like a foundation, which is cool. You want to do that, right? And I'm actually fine with her being undefeated at WrestleMania. But in the interim, we should keep it interesting. And I think the creative should figure out ways to just give her interesting stories. And, it doesn't hurt to have somebody beat her here and there. So I do hope that between Asuka and Iyo, I hope one of them beats Bianca relatively soon. I love Iyo. I think she's great. Yeah, my last question on this topic, Isra, is this: we all know that Io's this good, right? And she rose to the occasion and showed everybody. Do you think that there's anybody else in this women's division in this entire company that hasn't been given the platform to wrestle in the big stage, but if they did, would rise to the occasion to a level similar to this? Is there anybody? Just
like that's already on the main roster?
Yes. Or have we unearthed all the great women's wrestlers in the company?
Oh, no. I don't think we've reached like a peak or anything. I think there's a lot of women in NXT that if you like hand them the ball, they're gonna know what to do. But I think at this moment in time, it's Iyo. It's nobody but Iyo.
Yeah, I'm all on board. I'm ready for Iyo Mania. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go. Joe, I'm curious if you have any opinions on that.
Yeah, I think the issue there is to the level of this. I don't think so. On a lower scale, I will say that I do think there is more for Mia Yim to do.
I agree.
Oh shit! Oh my god! Yeah. I'm a Mia Yim fan. I forgot. It literally escaped me. But yes, I literally said a couple weeks ago that she needs like a big push soon. I don't know why. Yeah. I think it literally escaped me because I'm kind of slow right now. But also because they don't really do anything with her. It's like when they put someone in the back, it's almost like you subconsciously kind of forget about them, which is really sad. And I apologize.
I think Mia would, in an ideal world, I think she'd be like perfect as like that bridge between the kind of elite we've been discussing here. Because to me, she can have matches with those women, I'm glad Mia's there and again a full-time deal there at all, because it was she had her first run, it was awful, man. It was, I'm not saying it's great now, but that was rough as a fan of hers. So I'm glad she's back there. It does feel like she's not even scratched the surface of what she can do, though. I mean, she was in War Games and there was no follow-up for her specifically, unless I'm mistaken. So
yeah, she just kind of she's lucky now because she's been repaired with the Good Brothers in Style, so she'll have a TV role. But
Yes.
yeah, I think Mia's good too. I watched her wrestle Jordan Grace in Impact, and I was like mind blown at how good that was. So I think there's stuff for her to do. My shout for this topic is Piper Niven. I think Piper Niven is really, really good, and she's not a Charlotte or a Rhea Ripley or a Bianca Belair, but I think she can fight with those types of people. And I think what they need to do right now is, like you said, they need to cultivate and really develop that middle section of the division. You know, because obviously you have the Chelsea Greens and Sonias of the world who are there to be TV characters and performers and do the tags for 4-minute matches, right? That's fine. Everybody has a role to play. But I do think there is a space for that middle section that you can interchangeably slot in with the big time wrestlers. And I think people like a Piper Niven, like a Mia Yim, could be viable people in that slot. But from one Israel favorite in Iyo to another, Seth Rollins came out next. And Seth Rollins faced the Nigerian giant Omos. And this was a match that was randomly announced a few weeks before the pay-per-view. Seth Rollins told Omos on Raw that he was going to bounce his big head off the canvas and they were going to sing his song and that he was going to go on to win the World Heavyweight Championship. And he is so far 2 for 3. He has bounced Omos's big head off the canvas with a curb stomp, a super curb stomp off I think the second rope. And the fans were singing his song for sure. Seth Rollins was white hot in Puerto Rico. I thought that this match was like preposterously good. Omos, not that he's like horrible, you know, he's limited because of his size. He's somebody that I think is showing very, very slight improvements every time I see him. Because in this match, I'm seeing a few little like character and performance quirks from him, Joe. Like whether it be kind of like some shit talking or looking at the crowd or the cameras. He's kind of getting some instincts for that. You know, physically, and when it comes to mobility, he's not going to ever move like fucking Rey Mysterio, obviously. But I was into this, actually. I thought this was the best match of Omos's career. And Seth Rollins showed again that he can just get matches out of certain guys that they otherwise couldn't have. So I was happy with this, and I'm glad Seth got the clean win. He looked really good. He looked like a world beater, and he beat Omos. Joe, what did you think of Seth Rollins versus Omos?
I actually, I kind of expected this to deliver. And again, we're talking relatively here. Like, I thought the match was good, but the reason I think you and I were so impressed was because this felt like the maximized version of this matchup. Like, I know you can do a better version of Omos versus Seth Rollins than they did here. I don't want to be like overly performant with the Omos thing. So at some point, it comes almost insulting to the guy when it's like a whole bit. I genuinely think like he's actually figuring it out slowly but surely. And I think it kind of it's a double-edged sword, right? When you're a guy of that size, obviously you get fast-tracked and then some, it goes without saying. But it's also really hard to get real reps because the only way to get a giant over is to have them squash a load of guys. And squashing a load of guys doesn't really do anything for you as a performer, right? So it's like I feel bad for a guy like that in a lot of ways because I think you're kind of positioned to foul. I think every time I see him, he looks more comfortable. He's never going to be Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, right? But like, I really do think he's on the right track. Seth Rollins right now, like, you know, Israel and I are on different planets with our Seth fandoms. I'm not a huge fan, but he's incredible right now. I mean, to me, he's the best he's ever been because he's the most popular he's ever been. And to our earlier conversation about crowds transforming matches, when you're as over as Seth Rollins is right now, it don't take a lot. You know, like you can really get them going easily. And you're seeing that with Seth kind of weekly at this point. The match he had with Miz a couple weeks ago, good Lord, that was ridiculous. So I really liked it. Again, it's not a 4-star match, anything like that, but for what this was, I thought they maximized it. It was probably almost best match yet. So thumbs up for me.
I get into the wrestling matches where it's like you're trying to wear down a big opponent and you're chopping down the tree and you're doing a bunch of your finishers and stuff like that. So yeah, Isra, what did you think of your boy Seth Rollins going against Omos? Were you into this?
This was definitely Omos's best match. Seth was challenging him. You could tell that Omos was being challenged and that he was pushing whatever limits that he has in order to keep up with Seth Rollins. I think that this match kind of stressed me out during different points because I was starting to think that Omos might win.
Same.
But after watching it back, obviously these are like when you're watching it live, how you feel. So like after I rewatched it, I do feel like maybe I do appreciate that they let it drag a little bit. I have like a toxic optimism because like I refuse. If I love someone, like I literally refuse to see like the bad. So like I do feel like the match should have been a lot shorter, but they did what they had to do. Seth is a miracle worker. They better not do that shit to him again because I don't know. I think you have a wrestler that good. Like, yes, he can elevate other people and people like Omos, like they need to have a match like that to get better. But it's like, he's the best talent you have. Give him better talent to work with. You feel me? So also the part that stressed me out the most was the finish because I think that's his bad knee. No, I'm not. This is not funny. This is not a joking matter because he went up, and if you watch it back again, like you just when you look at his leg when it's that high up and he's doing the jump, he was trying to get stable. Omos was trying to like position himself, his big ass. And then I was looking at Seth's leg and just praying. I'm like, oh my God, please don't break. I was so scared because I didn't know what to expect because it's Omos. Like, no disrespect. A lot of people like Omos and he's interesting. But I was sweating,
Yeah.
I get it actually. Every time that like I watch Joe at this point, every time Joe grabs his head, I'm like, fuck, it's over. At the end.
I do think it was hard that when Seth had first of all, the spotlight thing was sexy, but the fact that Omos just like kicked him just in the middle of him just basking in his own like narcissism.
Yeah, that was fun. That's a funny perspective, like just being afraid that like your favorite's gonna hurt himself like that. Insane. Yeah, man, he got the win. I thought he looked good.
I think he was scared. My cat is here. I was getting the vibe that he was worried that Omos was gonna fuck him up.
That Leo?
I was that was the vibe that I was getting.
Is Leo gonna say hi to the Wrestle Pierce Galaxy?
This is Rain.
Oh, that's Rain. Wow.
This is Rain.
God. I'm staying.
She doesn't like being manhandled. She likes to sit on you, but she doesn't like when you manhandle her. She's gonna sit and smack me with her tail.
But she's not. She doesn't want to look at the camera. She's very shy.
No, she's very possessive. Like this is a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
No. If she's sitting on you and like someone else comes up and tries to touch her, like she's like no. Like she'll bite you. She'll like everything. Like she's affectionate in a very aggressive way. She's kind of like me.
That's crazy. Damian in the comments said Kenny Omega's been making me feel that since his return last year. You know what's crazy with Kenny? He has so many injuries that he's accumulated, and yet when I watch him wrestle, I never feel like he's gonna like hurt himself in the match because I'm so used to seeing him in like New Japan do death-defying shit that he just pops back up from. So like he feels indestructible, even though we know that the contrary.
He's so graceful too, right? Like even when Kenny's like patched together and he's fucked up, his offense still looks great. Obviously, you can tell when he's super sharp, but like, yeah, I'm with you. Kenny's, bless man, he's so beat up, but he's still so great. It's hard to even think about it,
Joe, quick aside, real quick before we move on with the show. I was just watching the 6-person tag at Wrestling Dontaku, and Hiroshi Tanahashi is just so mad at me. Real quick, Hiroshi Tanahashi in that match, everything he did looked like shit, but it's Tanahashi, so it just popped me. like his sling blade, bad knee sling blade. You know what I mean? Everything. But that's the game sometimes. So we followed this up at Backlash with a triple threat match. It was a 3-way for the United States Championship featuring Israel's 3 favorite wrestlers in WWE. Ashley, Austin Theory, and Bronson Reed, her newest favorite. These 3 strapping young up-and-comers, these 3 hot rods, had a 3-way for the U.S. title. tore the house down in Puerto Rico with the match of the night. And no, they had an 8-minute match. I actually thought that Bronson Reed did a couple dynamic things that actually I enjoyed. He did a ripcord power scoop slam. He did a Vader bomb to the outside. He did a moonsault in the match.
He did.
Fans were into Bobby Lashley. Theory got some boos. Reed didn't get much of a reaction. But ultimately, I got to be honest, I actually thought this was pretty solid. I kind of got into this a little bit. I thought it was a nice little match here. Isra, do you have anything to say about your 3 favorite wrestlers here?
Nope.
Joe Hulbert, what did you think of the match?
I actually liked it. I thought it was very well agented. It was like 6 minutes long. That's real grabs right there, you know. Get them in, do everything in your offensive arsenal and get out. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Bronson Reed has got certain weaponry, certain things he can do that will get a live crowd to react. But he's like, he just refuses to be like actually mean and intimidating. And it's fascinating because the stuff that he can do is much more challenging than what I just described. You know, he did a moonsault in this match. Like, not many dudes that size to do a moonsault, but he never connects with the audience in that sense. That he never captures like this sort of. Some guys genuinely change the atmosphere in the building. People go, oh my God, they're kill him. Yeah. He just can't, and it fascinates me because he can do some incredible things. Genuinely, like we've had some fun at his expense for on our shows. But like, he's a talented guy, right? Like, genuinely, it's just watching him struggle to connect is fascinating to me. But Lashley, to me, the story kind of they need to do something more interesting with Lashley. I feel like every time I watch a WWE show, he's wrestling Austin Theory in some form or fashion. I mean, he's way more over than the role he's been slotted in this last stretch. So hopefully Bobby gets some good shit to do moving forward.
Hey man, he's in the tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe he makes it to the finals and defeats Seth Rollins. Who knows? Well,
that'll be an interesting podcast with Isra and I. I come on with an almighty shirt.
Dum 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 dum. Oh my God, Isra, you would start seeing some slurs flying the timeline, but
I need you to stop trying to get this off. Like, it's not funny.
The fourth match on the show for Backlash, if I'm not mistaken, was Zelina Vega's match, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. Zelina Vega from Puerto Rico got a shot at the SmackDown Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley of Judgment Day. Rhea looked like a big superstar when she came out. She had this really cool white gear that she came out with. Zelina Vega looked like Puerto Rican Wonder Woman. She had her family in the front row. The fans really, really, really took to her because, I mean, obviously. And at the introductions of this match, Zelina was overcome with emotion. But she was taken aback by everything, and really, really nice to see. The match was pretty brief, and it was honestly what, in my opinion, what it needed to be and what I expected it to be. It was about 6-7 minutes. Rhea, because she's Rhea Ripley and she's elevated herself and she has aura now, she beats the shit out of Zelina Vega, but Zelina finds certain openings. She reverses the Riptide into a really cool DDT. She, she does what she can with the opening. She did a Meteora, which to me, I don't know if you thought about this, Israel. When she did the Meteora with that outfit, it was impossible not to think of Sasha Banks. But that was
respectfully, because I love Zelina and I do love Sasha, and I'm not one of them fans that like argues about either or. When she did her entrance, I looked at my phone. Then like her music hits, I looked up and I'm like, I literally thought that was Sasha. Like at first glance, like cause she does kind of like favor her in certain ways, especially with that wig. But obviously, like, yeah, there was certain similarities. But when you're doing like an Eddie Guerrero like type of tribute, like it doesn't belong to Sasha, you know? Like, I think if Sasha, even if she was still with WWE, if anything, she probably would want to get involved with what LWO is doing and stuff. Like, it wouldn't be no beef. It wouldn't be no comparisons, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, so Zelina Vega did a few comeback spots, but ultimately Rhea Ripley shut her down with the Riptide. This was not a big, long 50-50 back and forth epic, and I didn't think it needed to be honest with you. I think this was a match where Zelina gets to get the big hometown pop. She gets to take in the love from the fans, and she gets a nice shot at this title. But ultimately, Rhea Ripley is the big foundational piece that you're building up, and she has aura, and she's at a level where.
What does that mean? Okay, what
Go ahead.
this aura thing that y'all talking about? What does that mean?
Right. Well, for me, aura as in like not everybody can just step to her like that, because if everybody can step to you, then you are at the level of everybody. I think when you have aura like on that level, like Rhea Ripley or a Brock Lesnar or some of these other people, it means
Just say
something when
she's buff.
No, it has nothing to do with being Brock. Okay, you know what?
I'm gonna people saying like LeBron James has aura. It's always like the big buff person that like little people can't get through. Like just say she's buff.
All right, you know what, Joe? Can we think of some wrestler that has aura that isn't buff like that? Like isn't some big hulking person?
That's a good question. Well, to be fair, aura is a very broad term though, because like there are, to me, Ray has one. It's a different thing. Like it's Ibu and I both, to be fair to you, Israel, we both just sort of use that word, just threw it out there, like, oh fuck, it'll be fine. I think the best way to explain it in this particular case is that Rhea kind of feels singular in terms of the level she's at on the card, in the sense that I think there's only a couple women in the division that based on the TV show you believe would go 50-50 with Rhea. So maybe in this case, it'd almost be a more accurate term to say like she has sort of an invincibility element. I think, right? It would almost be a better way. In Rhea's case, she feels like untouchable almost on that level to us. Now, again, that's not for everyone, but I don't know.
Someone comments more Keiichi. Israel, this is a good answer. He said Asuka has aura. And I think in NXT, Asuka felt untouchable, unbeatable, like a killing machine. And she's not physically larger than everybody, and she's not this muscular person, but you step to Asuka, you die.
So it's just like the vibes of like
it's kind of it factor, to be honest, in a lot of ways, like that kind of is some people a good way of explaining it. Think about Bronson Reed, what he lacks.
Asa would say everything.
I'm gonna get canceled.
I could see in your face, like when he said, "What does he lack?" It's like when like something loads on a computer screen. And it's like a long list of things. That's
my bad. I had to get my shit off there, but Hook is a good one in the chat. Hook was a good one.
I think
Suzuki is a good one. It's really an it factor thing. It's honestly one of those intangibles that's really hard to explain. You just see it. It's like Rhea Ripley's got it. Yeah,
like Israel. If I walked in a wrestling ring right now, like I'm not a huge guy, but I have aura. You know what I mean? Like people be like, "Oh shit, it's fucking Backup Hangman." Like,
is Ibu a wrestle purist?
He could fuck anyone up in the ring. Like, holy fuck, it's Backup Hangman. I'm not 6'7", so yeah.
I think if you was to step in a ring. Right. They would think you're sweet.
No, they would not. They would think that shit is not sweet, actually, when you step in the ring with Backup Hangman. I'd be throwing suplexes left and right to all your favorites. Bruh, $2 super chat. Rollins Priest World Heavyweight Championship Finals. Bruh, thank you so much for the super chat. That cannot be the final because they're both on Raw. That can be the semifinal that will be broadcasting on Raw tomorrow.
That's a sexy match.
I think the match is going to happen.
I would be here for that.
I think that might happen tomorrow. Interesting stuff there. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. Maz fan 84 $5 super chat. Pirated the Bad Bunny match. He is a dog. Needs to do a multi-promotion tour. Imagine bloody lucha brawl with Roosh, LA Park, AAA. Crowd would eat. I'd love to see Bad Bunny wrestling in Mexico with luchadors. That's not going to happen. But that's not going to happen. But,
I mean, we all want things we can't have.
Sure. That Bad Bunny match, whether you're a WWE fan or not, that match is something you should check out. And it was just, it was a spectacle. Thank you for the super chat. Chi-Town Spurs, $2 super chat. How long does this theory experiment go on?
I can answer this question.
Sure.
When Vince McMahon kicks the bucket.
Actually, yeah, this is legitimately true.
Because he's willing to like bet everything on Theory. Like he loves that boy. Like he loves him on like a questionable level that makes you think that they be into certain things. You know, it's weird.
Listen, this guy Vince McMahon showed up to TV the first time since his exile to basically make sure that the Theory of Cena segment went well. He's an animal. I have some backstage insight, and that is that after the WrestleMania match with Austin Theory and John Cena, Triple H kind of soured a little bit on Austin Theory in the sense that like he just didn't really know if he was that guy. And the last month has kind of been him trying to really reevaluate things on that front. But it's a big disconnect because he feels that way. But one message that Vince had Hunter pass to the creative team in a meeting, this is new information to you, Joe, unless Monty told you. Vince basically told Hunter to tell them, now's the time to plant our flags with Austin Theory.
That's what I'm saying, bro. This is
and basically like everybody just kind of laughed, apparently. Like they're just kind of like, all right, oh shit.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
They're like, what is he cooking? Like
this idea that Vince sends messages to Hunter to send to them and they just laugh when he says it is really funny to me.
Yeah.
Hey guys, my dad says we should do Austin Theory versus Roman at Saudi. And everyone's just like, anyways. It's like, okay. All right. Thank you for the super chat, Chi-Town Spurs.
Tremendous.
Monty's asleep again. But yeah, man, Austin Theory, he's still the United States champion. I hope someone like a Santos Escobar could take the belt off him.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Oh, that would eat.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. Chi-Town Spurs another $5. Thank you, Chi-Town. Man, you're really coming through here, bro. If you guys could pick any celebrity to be next to wrestle on Bad Bunny or Logan Paul level, who would you want? Isra, who's the next celebrity wrestler that you would like to see?
Give me Ariana Grande. Yo, the fact that they didn't try to have Britney Spears versus Trish Stratus was nuts. Like, that was such a beautiful opportunity. I seen a tweet yesterday that said that imagine if they would have had Michael Jackson versus Shawn Michaels. That's like a dream booking. I would have wanted like Britney Spears versus Trish Stratus just because like Trish was kind of like the Britney of wrestling. You know what I mean? And I love Britney and I love Trish, so that would have been like I would have loved that. As of today, it's really hard because like Bad Bunny's like as big as he is.
Yeah.
And then there's Logan Paul who's big on a social media level. Like I would want a woman that's like she's gonna really like shake the table. And I feel like Ariana Grande could be her, or maybe Rihanna.
You know what I wanted to see?
Is to have her baby. I could see Ariana trying to like do some lucha things. She's little and she got them little legs, so like she can like bounce around and do what she gotta do. Rihanna would definitely just ground and pound and just beat the shit out of everybody. Like I would want that.
Jesus Christ! Do you remember the Twitter beef between Lacey Evans and Cardi B?
Oh yeah.
Yo, I seen someone in the chat say Chris Brown. I would love to see that just because he's like really athletic and like he does like MMA and boxing and stuff like that. And I guess I'm sorry. It's like a sensitive time to talk about him.
Yeah.
I hit me was like in the middle of me talking. I'm like, oh shit.
Yikes, yeah. Vin Diesel was brought up in the chat. That would be fucking hilarious. Like, you know what?
Who?
Can you imagine Vin Diesel walking to John Cena and he's just like, time's up. With his fucking like Vin Diesel voice. I need him wrestling in a really tight black t-shirt with his Jesus piece on, suplexing people. I'm with it, man. I'm with it. Someone said LeBron James versus The Undertaker. Why do I feel like LeBron would be a fucking dog shit wrestler?
I don't know, man. I feel like that level of athlete, man. I don't know. I don't think it would take long. He'd be hitting the ropes.
No, if any NBA player, it should be Jimmy Butler. It's not even a bias. Like, he'll step to anybody.
He's a fan too. He's a wrestling fan too, Butler.
Jimmy would definitely do Daredevil spots like a Shane McMahon. I think.
He's an animal, man. God.
Yeah, he's fearless.
That's sensitive for both you and Ibu, so I'll just leave that there.
It is what it is, you know. It is what it is. Thank you so much for the super chat, Chi-Town Spurs.
Tremendous. That was a good shit. That was good shit.
Yeah, good fan. Monty, again, asleep at the wheel. This guy, he is off today, man. MazFan84, $2 super chat. TK, run the Chris Brown versus Usher death match.
Chris and Usher are brothers. They would never. The thing is, like, I don't want to get into it because until there's like video evidence, like, you cannot tell me that shit happened because like they both look okay, and every single video that does exist is them like cuddling and skating. So like, I don't think they should have a death match. I think they should do a collaborative album or like a tour. I will go.
Can you give me some Chris Brown right now, Isra?
What, sing for you?
Sure.
No.
All right.
If we want to do some impure stuff and someone wants me to sing some Chris, then you better like.
Oh my God! You know what, guys?
Oh my God!
Guys,
no, they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it.
$30 super chat and Israel will sing.
30?
Whoa.
$30. Israel will sing a Chris Brown. A little bit.
No, I'm not. It's got to be 100.
No, it's gonna.
This is my body, my voice, my choice.
This payday is transforming into my eyes.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Joe went.
It's siren now, bro. It's siren.
He's like, we're doing the singing business, brother. Like, I'll fucking rap whatever you want.
I want to be clear. I'll absolutely not do that. But there is no amount of money you can send me that maybe sing, rap, or anything in between. Not happening. But
Israel will sing a song for you for $30 for the next super chat.
For $100. If you want to be cheap and sing for $30, or maybe freestyle, you could maybe perform one of your raps for $30 since you're cheap. You could do that. That's not me though.
My rap career is long behind me. I am not touching that part of my life.
If y'all heard this man's bars, yo, you so lucky that you haven't like crossed any type of lines because the Israel files run so deep.
Joe, were you aware of this?
Next thing you know, your rap's gonna be on. That's worse than that's worse than anything else that I could expose if I put your raps on the timeline.
No one's ever gonna find it. I'm a former SoundCloud rapper, and Joe, I gotta say, it was a dark time. You know what I mean? It was
I respect you being honest about that. It's new law for me. I was not aware of that. I'm amazed by your confidence saying no one will ever find this. It seems bold. Seems interesting choice you made there, bro.
Like, back of Hangman rap from 2016. And I'm like, fuck. Yeah. You know, it is what we live and learn. You know, sometimes you just realize that you're in. This is not going. This is just not. It is what it is. Yeah. Thanks for the super chats, guys. You guys are great. Appreciate everything. We have a couple more actually, I think. So, Monty, you want to get some of the other ones up before we get to the next match? But yeah, man, Bad Bunny wrestled Damian Priest, guys.
Did you just skip over Zelina and Rhea?
No, we just talked about it.
Okay, continue.
The lack of weight is like fogging, like you're thinking or something. I don't know what's going on here. No, yeah, we talked about it. Did you have anything else you'd like to add, Israel, about Zelina Vega and Rhea Ripley?
I think WWE should, like, if they got foreign wrestlers, they should specifically go to their countries and run the shows there just because. Yeah, y'all got the money. Just do it. Like, because imagine you getting a hometown pop from literally your home country, from the island that you was, like, come on. Like, she was raised in where, like, Queens or whatever. She's not going to get that same reaction as she did in Puerto Rico with her countrymen. You know what I mean? Just go to everyone's countries.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Monty in the chat says, I'm not complying until Ibu apologizes or someone else asks. Apologize for what?
Well, you did kind of
I'll
say
be
it was
right back.
posh,
Just give me 1 minute.
You did question his leadership, which I wouldn't do, as you know.
Was I bashing his creator?
Monty, I would like to request you put the super chats on screen, and also, maybe consider that cut that you're giving out here. Consider, the conduct of Ibu. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean,
dock a few points there.
Maybe my 30 should go to 50, bro. I don't know. I'm just thinking it through,
Montel, I apologize for criticizing your leadership and pace of super chat projections on the screen. Simeon, 2 more big ones. Says Roman's next 3 challengers. I mean, it does feel like Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, and Cody Rhodes, doesn't it?
It does. I thought he may work with Shinsuke, but he's on Raw now, right? So I thought that maybe because they teased that like way back when, right?
Yes, they did.
So I thought they might do a one-off for that, but yeah, I think you've nailed it there. I'm not sure who else comes to mind.
Streamed Randy Orton.
Yeah,
I miss Randy, man. I got to be honest. Randy Orton, when he's not around, I don't know. I just miss him.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know for
Randy
a lot
has
of people,
aura.
He really does. He really does.
Yeah.
I know Randy's like kind of divisive and stuff. We've never got it. I understand, but I miss that dude. He's someone I really enjoy watching, genuinely so.
I think the worse of a person that you are, like the more aura you have.
There's genuinely something to that.
I think like
absolutely.
Speaking without like my camera on is like that might be the move.
No,
I can just say whatever. You don't even know if it's me. It could be a body double. This could be AI. I could literally say whatever.
Joe can't be the only one. Israel, you draw 9. You're a beautiful woman. We love having you on camera. We can't do that. Randy Orton, man, I really do hope he comes back because I think Randy rules.
Absolutely.
Randy rules. Yeah.
I did not say that. You said Randy rules. Yeah, with a fucking head bob. I don't bob my head when I talk at all. But yeah, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, Yuzora Hart, $5. A celebrity to show up and wrestle at Logan Paul's level, Dwayne Johnson. And at this point, I don't know if Dwayne Johnson can wrestle at Logan Paul's level. Yeah, I don't know if Dwayne Johnson can wrestle at Logan Paul's level in 2020.
That's crazy. That's true though.
Not in 2023. Not in 2023.
Yeah, I mean it was 10 years ago the second Cena match, and he's like his body like tore in half. I don't know.
Exactly. Yo, my man, bro.
I don't even think Dwayne Rock can even attempt like a third of like Logan Paul's moveset.
Yeah, Dwayne doing the buckshot would be crazy. Dwayne's buckshot lariat would be something else.
She must be being spiteful. This isn't even a super chat. This isn't even a super chat. This is like not something you need to put on screen. But he says, it's my man Laz going, Ibu, you turn your camera on with the tomato. This is Monty, being spiteful, getting his agendas on screen. But
that's Monty?
No, but Monty intentionally put this on screen, is what I'm saying. It's the games he plays. You know what I mean? My man bro in the live chat said, Ibu out here calling his coworkers beautiful, bro. Learn from Dangor, bro.
Yeah, but if he said I'm beautiful, like that's like a fact. So that's not an issue.
Absolutely, and also, I mean, comparing me to a man that is a piece of philiac is a bit spiteful, and
no, because when I release the Israel files, Dangor is gonna look like innocent in comparison.
This is false. There is no.
It's crazy.
I'm telling you.
When I released the Israel files,
that was crazy,
folks. I am a righteous, wholesome, wrestle purist podcaster who,
We don't want to hear it. Let's talk about Bad Bunny. Because I'm back.
Bad Bunny walked out in Puerto Rico, and he was treated like he was literally Jesus Christ.
They need to build a statue of his.
That guy came out, and it felt like a cultural icon was out there. they were singing along with his song word for word. There was this amazing camera angle that captured the scope of the venue. He pulled out a shopping cart full of weapons like he was New Jack. And this guy came out there with Damian Priest. And folks, this was a hood classic. Damian Priest beat his ass and had the match won early on, but he opted not to go for pinfall. Bad Bunny fought back with kendo stick shots. Bad Bunny did a plancha to the outside. Bad Bunny was fighting around the arena. Bad Bunny was giving this guy Michinoku drivers and Falcon arrows. They went to the crowd. Damian Priest gave this guy a fucking Falcon arrow off of like a crate, like through tables. I was like, what is happening? Why is Bad Bunny, one of the biggest recording artists on the planet, taking these bumps? He doesn't have to do this. This could have been a quick little exhibition, but no, he's taking these insane bumps. He took that table bump. They fought around the arena. They did a bunch of crazy fucking shit. You know, big weapon shots, trash can lids, all this shit. The crowd is going crazy, cheering for that Bad Bunny. They're booing Damian Priest. Damian Priest is hamming it up with the fans. There was a really cool moment where he had the kendo stick shot, and he like swung it like a baseball bat to act like he had like a home run. Great character moment there. But the LWO got involved with this, guys, and we had the LWO members save Bad Bunny. But folks, the big man, Savio Vega, makes his return to Puerto Rico. Big Puerto Rican wrestling legend. Wrestled in Puerto Rico as TNT. Wrestled briefly in WWE as Savio Vega. The fans in Puerto Rico went nuts for this guy. He stood there like a Puerto Rican grandfather just on the ramp. He walked out like a little bit and then stopped and was like,
he just stopped.
that makes he was like, I am not running the length of this fucking state. Finn Balor, you better walk up to me. I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna catch my breath. Yeah. And Finn Balor came up to him. He did his super kick. He did all his shit. And the fun didn't stop there, guys, because I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. Carlito from the Ruthless Aggression era, Puerto Rican wrestler Carlito came out to save Bad Bunny, and he gave Finn Balor a backstabber. He took a bite into an apple and he spit it in the face of Dominic. Dominic got a 619 from Rey Mysterio, who was out there. The crowd is going insane. The chaos clears out, and then figure four leg lock from Bad Bunny onto Damian Priest. This is great because figure fours were the finisher of the most famous Puerto Rican wrestler there is, Carlos Colon. He did a figure four leg lock on Damian Priest. Priest is selling it like a fucking madman. He gets out of it. My God, Bad Bunny ate a South of Heaven choke slam. He kicks out. Bad Bunny did a Falcon arrow of his own, and ultimately he won with a fucking Canadian destroyer.
That was
where do we begin, Isra? Where do we begin here? Like
that's literally as you were like doing the whole rundown. I'm literally thinking like this is so much to unpack. Like this was like a feature film in a wrestling match. Like it had like the plot was amazing, the climax, like they had so many plot twists, like the finish was beautiful. Like, are you dumb? I feel like first of all, this should have been the main event. That's just one.
Yeah,
like they're insane. They're literally like mentally deficient for thinking that anything else could come after this. Like, especially with the way the match was laid out. Number two, give Damian Priest his things. Because yes, Bad Bunny that was like an insane performance, but Damian Priest based him. Like the match was structured beautifully. Like them two just fed off of each other and had amazing chemistry. And I see big things for Damian. I don't know if anyone noticed, but like this is off topic, but like Damian Priest got his teeth fixed. I don't remember when he got his teeth fixed, but that's how you know like he got like money now. So like I see big things coming for Damian Priest, you know?
Big man.
Especially after like he just looked really good. I was like thinking halfway through the match, I'm like, how do I explain to my locals who like Bad Bunny the significance of like a Falcon's arrow or like a Michinoku driver? Like, how do I tell them that this is sick? Like, because they wouldn't get it. Like, they just see Bad Bunny being sexy and like doing whatever. I'm like, this is you wouldn't get it, man. But he did bring like a lot of like I saw like people on my timeline, not to bring up Twitter, sorry, but like I was seeing people like on Stan Twitter that don't give a shit about wrestling, like they're just here for Bad Bunny. Like his power is actually insane.
Awesome. Yeah.
As we know, because when he did his entrance, like that shit turned into a whole concert.
Wow.
It did. Like, it did.
It's different when you can't even really hear the song because the crowd is overpowering the song. Like word for word, like that was beautiful. That's probably one of the best entrances.
That's like as cool as wrestling can possibly be. That entrance.
Yeah.
You know? There are very few things in wrestling that will ever be cooler than that, genuinely.
That really is just objectively a cool match.
Yes.
And then when they opened the Latin portal and they just kept popping out.
It really was this like Puerto Rican Avengers portal of just like guys.
It just wouldn't stop. And I'm like, honestly,
they all have LWO shirts.
Like gotta be more.
The Avengers.
What makes it funny, Joe, again, is because like the first guy coming out the portal is Savio, who just like has this old grandpa lean to the way he stands. He took 4 steps and then just kind of was like, okay. And just leaned a little.
The thing is, they kept playing his music, thinking it would eventually encourage him to take a couple steps forward. But he didn't. He just stood there and said, fuck it, I'm waiting, bro. What do you want from me?
He's supposed to fight Judgment Day. And he's like, nah, I'm going to just walk up and stop right here. If you walk onto me, we'll fight, but I'm going to stop right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, I'm going to give Carlito his things. First of all, this man did crazy numbers, like across like all kinds of social media, and I don't usually check this stuff, but it's looking like he could be a needle mover. So they need to sign him, whether it be a full-time or partial deal, because he was looking better than ever. First of all, he looks like kind of fine. Like he looks better with age. Like the last time we saw him, I'm like, you look so much better than before, and now I'm like, you look so much better than before. Like it's beautiful and objectively, like, well, not objectively, like in my opinion, I just feel like his working is just as exciting as it always been. So like, bring him back.
He didn't even look old, you know. Like he was
fine. Like
his bit has been the last like I'd say 5 or 6 years. His thing is he said he's becoming a body guy, and it's like he talks about how he takes these like indie dates and he doesn't take any bumps because he's a body guy, which is fucking awesome.
Hilarious.
He deserves a contract.
Carlito has aura.
Based
on this, yes,
in Puerto Rico,
yeah, based on this, I agree.
That guy walked out and got like an all-time pop. You know,
such a cool man.
And the thing is, I didn't recognize his theme music at first. I thought like I was just confused. I'm like slow sometimes, but when I seen his face, like I real life popped on my seat when I seen him.
Me too.
I was like, what's happening here? Yeah, man, and you know, all these guys had fucking LWO shirts. Joe, this was such a great time, man. This went long, but I was with it the entire way. In the moment, as the match is happening, it just kind of feels like this is like as cool as wrestling kind of gets in the sense of like it pops me as a fan, but like I'm watching that, I just know that like this is just like really it's just inarguably cool no matter who would like come across this to me. Such a great time. WWE, I think they're at their best in these big shows when they lean into just being big and silly, and you know what I mean, and
man, spectacle first. That's their greatest strength, and frankly, no one can match them in that particular avenue. Right, that's the one place they're unparalleled. In the same regard, I think we have to credit the production on a match like this is unfathomable. You know, putting this thing together is like an insane feat. I don't know who that was, but whoever it was, they did a hell of a job because this is 25 minutes long, and it was
Jamie Noble.
Well, there you go. That makes sense. But it was for this genre of wrestling, if such a thing exists, this is like a masterpiece, like genuinely. So much fun. It's like obviously insane in every which way, and you can pick holes in it if you really want to. But who really wants to? If you watch this live, you had such a blast with it. Everyone nailed their spots. I think the Judgment Day are so fun as like chicken shit here. Like their faces when all these guys were coming out, like that's what it's all about. Like Savio standing there looking the way he did and still selling him like he's the most dangerous man in the world. That's wrestling,
Savio is walking out and I was like, oh no.
Exactly, and
but like you got to think about he got old man strength.
For sure. And like it is worth that. Savio Vega is a wrestler who's just kind of like he doesn't get enough credit in general for how good of a professional wrestler he was. And I know he's still going, God bless him, but like he deserves a lot more love in general. I'm glad Isra shouted out Damian Priest because rightly everyone is looking in Bad Bunny's direction because he's nuts, right? The stuff he does is incredible. But Priest was extraordinary here. And it's really hard for a big man to work a match like this because how do you do it without killing like your aura, say it's full circle and go there again? I thought we did a very good job of selling. It is. I thought we did a good job of selling with logic. Keeping some level of authenticity to the match, it's really hard to do. I thought he nailed it. I'm not like a huge fan or anything, but he's been really good in this run. Monty has been kind of badgering me about like this, his quality as a role player and how he adjusts accordingly. And this is the match he'll probably be remembered for the rest of his career. And that's a compliment. I mean that with love because this is special. This is singular. It's a one-off. And if that's the case, it will be a very fond memory because he was fabulous in this. So loved it. An absolute blast. And I thought it would be good. I thought it would be a great time. It blew away my expectations. Again, they were pretty high going in. So nothing but love for this.
Spectacular. And so you know what? I'm going to ask the question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the greatest celebrity wrestler of all time?
This is really interesting because it's like, it feels to me like it's one of the two guys we have active now.
Yes.
But they have completely different strengths, right? Like Logan, his match with Roman was like a pretty much legitimate world's title match, which is pretty incredible. Bad Bunny's star power feels like it's on a different level, though. His charisma, his cool factor, to me, blows Logan's away.
Mm-hmm.
And when you use the phrase celebrity wrestler, do I want a guy who can believably throw a buckshot lariat or do I want a superstar? You know? It's like, to me, I think it's Bad Bunny because he's fucking nuts. He loves the business. And he has genuine cool factor in a way that wrestling has hardly ever seen throughout its whole history. So I'm going Bad Bunny personally. I don't know.
It's crazy because Logan Paul is so athletically gifted. He's preposterously good at his experience.
Yes, absolutely.
He literally, if he was a full timer, he would just legitimately become not a great celebrity wrestler, just a really good wrestler, in my opinion. But like you said, Bad Bunny's a nut job, and he's a superstar. So it's tough because before that match that Bad Bunny had, I would have said easily Logan Paul, but I mean, yesterday was cinema. What do you think, Isra?
They both have different things that makes them special in the ring. Logan Paul's extremely athletic. He's fast. The moves that he uses are explosive, what have you. Bad Bunny, also he uses he has like a legit move set. Also I noticed that he thrives with like storytelling and like in-ring psychology. Because he was selling like an underdog baby face. Like if you know how like sometimes when you watch a match with zero context, sometimes like you may not be able to realize who's the face or who's the heel. Like when you watch this, you know exactly what the story is because Bad Bunny is selling himself to be the underdog, like the inexperienced, like baby face. Like his psychology was really good, and also his wrestling is good. Like he's from beginning to end, it's like he's been able to tell a story, which I don't think Logan Paul has done. Logan Paul has amazing matches, but they've been very like formulated to be amazing matches, if that makes sense. Whereas Bad Bunny has heart.
You're saying that he's injecting and projecting feeling into
it's I don't know like what's the good like
you're saying Bad Bunny's real. You're
not me and Joe swear he's real. Exactly.
Yeah, I like both of them a lot. Like y'all know I like Logan Paul, so that it pains me to put him in number 2. But Bad Bunny, like and like Joe was saying, his star power is on another level.
Yeah.
And when you see the crowd, also wait, hold on, because also they are on opposite spectrums of the crowd's reception or perception, whatever the hell, whatever it's supposed to be.
I need them to
because everyone loves Bad Bunny, and everyone hates Logan Paul. They get reactions regardless.
Absolutely.
What reactions do you think are stronger though? Like Bad Bunny's.
Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico, bro. Come on,
Yeah, I think, but even just when he shows up on like Raw and shit, like people just like him, right? And the other thing too is it's like very obvious that he's sincere when he talks about how much of a fan he is. Like because we all hear it, right? Like we've all heard every celebrity comes in, so they're a fan of the business. And like, I'm not saying they need to be. It doesn't bother me if they're not. But like, Bad Bunny is an insane level of fans who the shit he does. Like he loves wrestling.
You know these celebrities like, oh, I've always been a fan of WWE Super Down, and I just love wrestling, and I'm a big fan of Ramen Reigns. I love it, and it's like, yeah, man. It's just something I wanted to bring up because we're in a weirdly great era of celebrity wrestling, where like before 10 years ago, you rolled your eyes if a celebrity got involved in wrestling, and now. Like, I expect them to lay out these really exciting and fun matches at these pay-per-views with them. So it was worth mentioning. As we get into the home
and we had a conversation about this yesterday, and she was saying like, "Oh, I didn't know celebrities like ever pulled up at WWE," and I'm like, because it was pretty shambolic in the past. But then with Bad Bunny, like for those who don't know, Triple H had said that he relocated to Orlando so that he could. Train wrestling full time back in 2021. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 21.
Yeah.
So he had dedicated like months to like actually become a professional wrestler and not just do this just for funsies, but because he wants to have a dream match. Like it's kind of like when you're a little kid and you're like, oh, if I was a wrestler, I would do this and I would do that. Like he literally made, I would assume, like a childhood dream like manifest into like real life.
Awesome.
That's what the match kind of looked like to me.
It's remarkable, and this is clearly just fun for him because now he goes from like this street fight to like his real job, which is like touring the world and performing, which is just so funny to me. Folks, as we hit the home stretch here, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in here. We have 160 live viewers, but we only have 61 likes. So if you guys could get the likes up on the video, I'd really appreciate it. It helps me pay my bills and feed my children. So please like the video if you have not already. Ariel Hawani, $2 super chat. Isra, stop by the MMA hour to release the Isra files. Isra, you can do whatever you want. You can obviously appear on the show if you'd like. I'd appreciate it if you don't drop the Isra files on Ariel Hawani's show.
I have my own podcast.
Thank you, super chat, Ariel. Chi-Town Spurs, $5. Gonna be crazy when Liam Gallagher comes out with Orange Cassidy at Wembley.
It would be crazy indeed. It would be.
Two more big ones from Simeon. He said, "Day Cody Rhodes predicts the fan reaction." Day Cody Rhodes finishes the story. Predict fan reaction. Cody Rhodes is going to finish the story at SummerSlam in Detroit, and the fans are going to go crazy.
I think it'll be very positive. I will be very surprised if it reaches the height they had in LA. Until I see that. It will still take some convincing for me. They're going to get that. That's insane. Like that's the big thing to me.
That crowd was crazy. You're absolutely, you're absolutely right. Is Cody going to finish the story?
No.
So dismissive.
This is absolutely not.
Just an absolute like shrug. No.
I turned that shit off when he pulled up. Like I don't give a damn about him.
Mashfan84, $5 super chat. Want to see a Bad Bunny interview where he goes into his fandom. Legit curious of how hardcore a fan he is. He could be like TK levels for all we know. Oh no, he's a huge WWE fan.
Yeah, for sure. There's that clip where those videos that where it's like 10 things they can't live without. What the fuck? And it's like he said like he has to have the WWF title with him all times.
Yeah, I think he said in his carpool karaoke thing that like his match at WrestleMania was the best day of his life, which is crazy because that shit is not his day job.
Yeah.
This guy's like performed in sold out freaking stadiums. You know, that's insane.
Incredible.
Thank you so much for the super chat, Mazfan84. Good stuff. The Bloodline were in the buffer match on this show. They were in the cool down. All right, you had your Bad Bunny pop. Everybody settle down now. Match against Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle. They slowed it down here, let the fans settle back down. The fans chanted for the Usos, but they did cheer pretty loudly for the babyfaces as well. There was a really, really long heat segment in this match, but then they built it back up like the Usos usually do. They built this back up. They got hot tags for guys like Matt Riddle and eventually Kevin Owens, who took a really weirdly sick head bump on the steel steps early in the match, like a sicko. But this is a match that I thought this was fun. I thought that there was some nice action backloading the end of this match. There's a lot of Usos internal melodrama with Solo Sikoa. And my general opinion is this was a good wrestling match. They built to it pretty nicely. And regarding the Uso stuff, doesn't move me that much, but it's undeniable that the Solo deal with Jey Uso got over in the building pretty big. And yeah, that's my general.
It's not the Usos with Sammy and KO. This is not what's happening. Everything revolves around Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. Jey Uso is at the scene of every single crime with Sami Zayn, with Solo Sikoa, Kevin Owens, whatever. Jimmy is nowhere to be found, ever. He just shows up after everything ends, and he's like, oh, what's going on? Why are you mad? Like, Jimmy, where the fuck were you this whole time? He never knows what's going on. And poor Jay has to deal with everyone's attitude. The peak match, in my opinion, was when it was just Jay and Sammy. And then when Solo tagged himself in, and Jay was like, nah, I want him. He's mine. When I tell you, like I was saying last week, like Jay and Sammy is fan fiction, like it really is. Like I do not like that they split them up just because of them two. Like that was just the best part of the match, in my opinion, because that was what had the most passion.
I thought the work in this match was actually pretty good. The story stuff, talking about coming out of the match. I mean, take it or leave it. I challenge them to make me care about what Roman is going to do to them, because Roman's going to be back on SmackDown. He's likely going to solve whatever familial issue is happening right now with Solo Sikoa and Jey Uso. We'll see what happens there. Joe, what did you think of this 6-person tag match?
I think I'm the kind of like universal high man on this match.
That's fine.
I liked it a lot. Like I have no problem saying, this is where wrestling is a subjective. Like, I genuinely find the Usos like drama compelling, and I very seldom find that kind of wrestling compelling. For whatever reason, the way they portray it, I actually think is I think it's pretty well done. Like, I thought the Solo stuff was like genuinely well done, and usually that would be the kind of shit that would like very quickly make me like look the other way, because it was just like whatever. When Solo snatched him, I thought that was like genuinely good wrestling drama.
It was. Yeah.
So like, I liked it a lot. I get why it's not for everyone. Like, it's not, I'm not going to get mad enough. Like, I'm aware that I'm the high man here. I do think there is a general kind of. I don't think the Usos' popularity is fully understood online. I'm convinced of this. I've been saying this for a while. Like, I think they're really fucking over, and I think a lot of people that are in the same position as me, to be clear, and only watch WWE in like bits and pieces, and talk about wrestling online, they think of the Usos as like the backup dancers in the bloodline. It's like the audiences do not see them that way. Like, they get big reactions. And I think because of that, I think this stuff works, because I do think the crowd cares whether or not, what's happening with Jay and so on and so forth. Now, again, that doesn't mean you have to, but I say all this to say I like the match quite a bit. I thought they navigated the cooldown spot really effectively and very professionally. Is it a classic? No. Is it a great match? No. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought it was very good. I do think, you could certainly cut some time from it. I don't know if it needs to go over 20, but I did. I liked it a lot.
The Usos are main event stars. That's just bottom line. They've taken up so much TV time on Raw and SmackDown with segments and main events that at this point they're surrogates for Roman Reigns when he's not there. And the fans see them as top guys, so you really can't take that away from them. But the show did close with Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar.
No, the show closed with the Usos and Sami Riddle.
That certainly would have been a better show for you if that happened. But Cody Rhodes fought Brock Lesnar. Quick jump start at the start of this.
It's crazy how there was like in Puerto Rico, the loudest crowd. There was no crowd reaction for Cody. Like, isn't that crazy?
This is an interesting interpretation of the acoustics of the building.
Like, they didn't give not one single damn.
Puerto Rico was hotter for Cody than
why people overseas don't care about Cody?
I think Puerto Rico loved Cody. You know what? Realistically, seriously though, they were tired. Like, I think that the crowd peaked Bad Bunny, and then they were like normal good for the last two matches. If that makes any sense, Joe.
I agree.
I've got a louder pop.
That is also an issue, is that Brock is like, people love seeing Brock, you know? Like, that is a challenging thing when you're a baby.
So Cody's only liked in America?
Hey, man.
Well, he really is Homelander.
He's an American hero. You know what I mean? He's as long as the people back home love you. Listen, Cody jumped Brock before the bell even rang here. This is exactly what you wanted, Joe. You wanted Cody Rhodes to really take fight Brock Lesnar in this match. This match had got a bit of a divisive reaction online, but I actually was pretty into this because Brock did his Brock stuff, the suplexes, but he did a couple varied suplexes and follow-away slams and things like that. But the other wrinkles were the fact that Cody did his stuff at the beginning of the match, and we got some blood, folks. Brock Lesnar ran face first like a meathead into the exposed turnbuckle. Hard way bled. The referee did not have the guts to wipe it off his face because he knew Brock would curse him out and probably hit him in the face. So ref just let him bleed. Brock Lesnar's bleeding. Cody, like an animal, rushes him and just nailed him right in the face to get the blood spreading. And
that sound was very questionable.
you made a face when I did. That was my fist on my palm.
That's you when you see Cody Rhodes?
No, it is Now June in Chicago might be.
You're gonna have to answer to God one day.
And God will see that good resume. But look, the point is Cody Rhodes rushed the guy because he was like, holy shit, I got color. And Cody Rhodes did 2 crossroads. Brock did not kick out of the crossroads. I mean, Brock did kick out of the crossroads, but Cody also kicked out of an F5. And Brock locked him in a Kimura lock, but Cody was able to get a flash pin on that, and then he kind of just got out of there. I like this match a lot. Actually, I was into this because I love Brock Lesnar. I love what he does. I got into the blood. I got into all that stuff. I don't think this is the best possible match that they could have at all. I think that this is like in the middle of the spectrum, if that makes any sense, because I think that it has a pretty high floor, and this was above that, while also not being their best match. And I do think
the worst match of the night.
This was not worse than the triple threat at all. But yeah, so I think this is going to go to Saudi. I don't have a problem with the finish. I do have a problem with Cody Rhodes almost just pathetically like waddling out of there. You know, like it's like, all right, let me get the fuck out. Like
the fact that he ran after this man has jobber instinct to this day. Like, come on, bro. Like, you're supposed to be tough now. You're supposed to be him now. You got a story that no one gives a damn about now. But you're gonna run? You beat Brock Lesnar and you ran?
I'm glad Cody Rhodes got the victory. I would like a decisive finish in Saudi. I know WWE gets squeamish about Brock Lesnar doing jobs. So if you have a problem with that, just let it be in the last man standing match where it doesn't have to be a pinfall if you really want to do it that way. But we'll see what happens. Joe, were you into Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes?
I was, yeah. I didn't like it as much as you, but I get why you liked it a lot. It was definitely it definitely captured some of the ideas we talked about last night, right? And I thought it was trending towards being pretty special, to be honest. And then they went home real quick. And I'm not like super, I don't think the finish was like terrible or anything. Like, I get it. I'm fine with it. I agree with you on the post. I would not have had the post match presented that way.
Yes.
What I would say is, considering that was the finish, I think it's even more surprising they had this main event. You know, that was the thing that really struck me, was like, if that was the finish, it's even weirder. But I liked what they did. I like this pairing a lot. I think they've got a classic in them if the stars align. This was about 50 or 60% of the way there, trending in the right direction. And then before we got to the final act, we were over with already. So it's not necessarily a time thing either. It was more the match just felt like it had further to walk. So I liked it a lot. They've got a better one in them for sure. I think there's room to be concerned with the finish of that rematch, but I like your last man standing solution, and hopefully they get a kind of extended sequel where they can take the best parts of this and flesh them out some.
Joe, I respect you, and everything that you've said thus far has been so beautifully said, so much better than I could, right? saying that Cody and Brock have a classic in them.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Is just this is the worst take I've ever heard all night.
I do have
to I apologize.
No, that's what I understand. We're new friends.
A classic, bro.
I have to be honest with you. We're new friends, and I have to be honest. There is a lot more. There's a lot of crossover between our friend backup Hangman's takes and mine than may seem. Unfortunately, if you take someone like myself, you take someone like Ibu, and you show us a guy getting punched in the head and a little bit of blood, we get a bit carried away. You know, I mean,
No, I get it.
You, I was about 90 seconds away from calling this shit a classic. So I'm.
No, I heard you say they got a classic in them, and I just had like tunnel vision. I'm like, let me hold that thought because
Joe, stand your ground, brother. I think you're spitting, my man. But yeah, you know what I will say, Israel. I'll give you this. This should not have closed over Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. Now that I've seen what those matches look like, I do not understand the decision there. I liked Cody versus Brock. Come on, ending the show with Bad Bunny, a cultural icon, closing a match that was honestly a cultural moment with the LWO standing tall and all the Puerto Ricans going crazy. That's how the show should have ended. And I think that, and mind you, the show's already like really, really good in my opinion. That kind of just changes the vibe slightly, you know what I mean, and makes it like a really like a different experience. So I do think that should close the show, but nonetheless, it did not, and I still think that the show was really, really fun. And I think WWE is on a string of pretty fun live events right now. I think that this trend of international shows is really, really, really cool. I think that they make B pay-per-views feel way more special, and I much prefer this over, bullshit, forgettable fucking Payback in Missouri. You know what I mean? Like, but now these live events, these pay-per-views, they feel they all have their own unique thing to them. And, absolutely, and exactly, flavor. So that was a Nick Khan initiative, to just have these more shows overseas, and it does add some.
Like,
flavor.
How did you know? Was it like the Bad Bunny influence? Like they made. Because I don't know the business side of this. I hardly ever check these things. But was it like something that they agreed with Bad Bunny? Or were they thinking about going to Puerto Rico? So they involved Bad Bunny because of that? Like, how did this come into? Because it's like, how did you know that Puerto Rico was going to be magic?
So I'm going to tell you what happened. They were talking to Bad Bunny. And they're like, hey, man, we really want you back to like do some stuff with us. And he said, like, I will work with you guys again. But you got to run a wrestling show in Puerto Rico. And Triple H said, deal.
He's so fucking real. Oh my God. That was like, so he called the boss shot.
Yes, he literally told Triple H, you got to run a show in Puerto Rico and I'll do whatever you guys want me to do.
I didn't know that. Where did you get this from?
It's just literally what happened. The thing about it is, and also Triple H told
Were you there?
Yeah, it was.
I like your tone, little bro.
Little bro. This Hunter told the story, and the thing is, this actually happened last summer. Like Bad Bunny was on his tour, and they had a conversation about it. So, yeah, Bad Bunny called his shot. He said run a show in Puerto Rico, and Triple H agreed. And Nick Khan, again, he's really pushing this. He's like, look, fuck doing these forgettable brands exclusive shows in Iowa and wherever the fuck. No, go to these other markets where these people are starved for wrestling. And your product just comes off so much hotter. So I'm personally really in favor of this direction for these shows. It makes them feel more unique. Joe, you have any closing thoughts on Backlash? I was going to say Blacklash.
I loved it, man. I really did. I think this is a show people are going to remember for a long time. A lot of that is the atmosphere. It's one of the best crowds they've ever had. I truly believe that. I don't think that's even a hot take, honestly. Is it the most loaded card that you'll see all year? No, but I thought the rest of them was really fun on the show, and I thought there was a couple of matches that were great. So it's a show I'll certainly remember very, very fondly. I thought it was awesome. Right now, they're in a pretty great, they're a pretty strong rhythm with these big shows. I don't watch the TV closely. I check in on the monthly pay-per-views or premium live events, but they've been really good as of late. This is very quickly becoming reminiscent of what Triple H produced in the black and gold era of very steady TV, from what I can gather. Very logical, but not necessarily dynamic TV. That the pay-per-views themselves delivering, and the crowds, because of what you mentioned, are helping in that. And look, I get it's not for everyone. It's not always for me. I don't watch Raw and SmackDown every week by any means, but I think there's a lot of good stuff going on right now in WWE, and I think it feels hot to me. I think the big pictures is hitting pretty good right now, even though there's always flaws underneath. But I had a great time with this show.
I agree with you, Joe. Not like the TV is steady. It's it's solid. It's what I mean. But like the real meat is in these pay-per-views, which they're starting to really be pretty consistent at this point. And frankly, I can live and actually really I'm fine with that model. You know what I mean? Fine. Solid TV. And you, as long as if the pay-per-views deliver, then the pay-per-views deliver. So, there you have it. Folks, let's get to these last few super chats, and then we'll close this out here. Israel, do you want to take this one? Oh, I don't know why I gave you this one specifically, but sure, go through it.
Brendan, $4.99. Thank you very much. Carlito and Jeff Hardy tagged against Elias and Jackson Riker in the Thunderdome. I couldn't tell you. I wasn't watching that shit.
Yes.
Yeah, Carlito returned at the Royal Rumble in 2021 in the Thunderdome, and then he was invited to Raw the next night. And I forgot what his story was, but he said something along the lines of like, "How was that Raw?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to stay here." Basically. Yeah. Like it was. He made it seem like it was up to him, and he was like, "Never mind. I don't want to be here." Thank you so much for the super chat. Go ahead, Israel.
Roger A, $5. Heh. You have your top star ending your show by running away?
Hey man, Cody got him next time, brother. He was following Arn Anderson's game plan.
Thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you for putting Ibu in his place. Princess Diana, $5. I haven't seen someone run as fast as Cody did out that ring since my ex ran to that harlot Camilla after I died. Both absolute twats. How you feel?
Princess Diana, thank you so much for the $5 super chat.
Wow. That was something.
Simeon, €2. How would you book Cody to be strong going forward? Thank you so much for the super chat and this question. I would not book him strong. I would have him lose to every big and every small. It doesn't matter. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, it don't matter. What's his name from NXT? The Australian dude. He could lose to him for all I care.
Wow.
Von Wagner. He need to get over.
Grayson Waller.
Yeah. Well.
Thank you so much for the super chat, Simeon.
Yes,
is that it?
I mean, I think I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like your pitch is he beats Brock, right? Just to balance it out a little bit. I think that would be your pitch for Cody, right?
Yeah. So
just for Cody, some balance,
Cody beats Brock Lesnar. He wins the Money in the Bank. He cashes it in on Roman Reigns for some match at SummerSlam. He wins the title at SummerSlam. That is my roadmap from Cody from now to SummerSlam. Simeon, thank you so much. And everybody, thank all of you guys so much, because this has been a really good time. You know what I mean? And with Isra and with Joe, we talked about Bad Bunny. We talked about Backlash. This was a Sunday conversation with the BHWO. Yeah. Good stuff.
What? So, listen, to the audience that's still here. Let us know what you think about like this little Sunday gimmick that me and Hangy have been doing. It's not his show. It's my show. He just does most of the talking, but it's a collaborative effort, if you will. So all feedback will be appreciated. We still got to come up with a name and a vibe and everything. I'm going to need to take over and hosting moving forward. I took the back seat, but I got to feel me. So yeah, like all feedback is appreciated. Leave a comment, follow everybody. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe, follow everyone on screen. What else? Get in the Discord. Yeah, follow the official WrestlePurists page. Period.
Yeah. See you guys next time.